What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde and Black for our everyday vibes. This episode is brought to you by AC Memento. AC Memento, your digital sports and concert scrapbook. Download Memento today by following the link in the show notes or on any of our social profile bios. This week, we recap Decision Day Madness, rapid fire regular season awards, and preview our first round matchup against LAFC before closing out the episode with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Logan Bartlett.
What's up, everyone? This is Paul Fletes.
And we're gonna get straight to it, bro. Let's get some preheated takes. We got a lot to look forward to. Start us off.
Sure thing. I've got Owen Wolff notching his 16th goal involvement in Game 1 of this 3-game series against LAFC.
I like that. I think that's a smart take. Dude's on fire.
Yep.
I think there's not much else to it. You got to have those guys step up. So there it is. Owen Wolff doing his thing.
Easy peasy.
I have Austin will have less than 40% possession against LAFC in our first round matchup.
Right on.
Bunker down.
That's it. That's the
thing.
recipe. Yeah.
We're going to run through all these once the season ends. We have a note to do so. So you will see who actually won. I have literally no vibe check on who's leading what right now. Couldn't even guess.
Right.
So, but
all good.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Let's run into some decision day discussion. Austin FC fell 2-1 to San Jose at PayPal Park, setting up what would have been a dramatic decision day scenario where the Earthquakes made the playoffs if things ended up being how they were. We'll get to that. First, let's talk about this game. Austin rotated heavy, right? Saving DP's legs for the playoffs and getting solid run for our reserves. But it was star boy Owen Wolff who bagged the only goal for Austin on the night, eclipsing 15 goal contributions on the season. Only the third player ever to do so for Austin FC, which is impressive. I believe the other two were, Paul, who were they?
I believe it's Diego Fagundes and Sebastian Driussi.
There you go. What does this do for Owen Wolff's confidence ahead of playoffs, right? That's an obvious question. Second to that, do you think the pundits are regretting putting Owen at 4th in the 22 under 22 rankings? And we'll start there.
Yeah, let's work backwards from that. I don't think they're regretting putting Owen at 4th because after looking at that list, I mean, it kind of makes sense that he's towards the top, but not quite there. I will say, though, that I mean, he's just continuing to prove his case that he should be number 1, which in turn answers that question of, you know, scoring against LAFC at home, notching another goal contribution. I mean, it only furthers his confidence. I see it on Instagram, bro. And like when you're looking at a player's confidence, you need only look at their, you know, Instagram profiles. And I mean, this dude is just oozing it. And,
the whole team's hyping him up in the comments. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. You see other players too, outside of Austin FC, like Sebastian Berhalter or Alex Freeman, you know, other, you know, strong national team, you know, youngins that are playing in this league, and they're like, hell yeah, boy, you know, like get after it. And so yeah, it's been fun to watch him definitely doing his thing this season, but I can only imagine that he's still as calm as ever and will continue to do so in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think since October 8th, when that article officially dropped, where he was ranked 4th in the 22 under 22, he scored 2 more goals in both games, LAFC and San Jose, right?
Right.
And he helped secure Austin's 6th place spot in the playoffs. I think he's just on the rise is the point, right?
Yep.
Maybe they don't regret it, but he's continuing to say like, hey, just since you put that article out, I got 2 more goals, bro. Like,
yeah,
what have they done? You know? Here I am, still growing and still contributing. So on the confidence point, I think it's clear, like this dude's locked in. He's here. It doesn't seem like a fluke. He just calm, cool, collected. You see him on the ball. It's no thought, no second guessing. Just play ball, you know, score goals, take shots, make the right pass, take the right shot, make the right run. It's pretty automatic for him at this point. So happy to see that because we need that. Not much else to say about this game. In terms of, I know the standings point, it didn't matter for us. Nothing would have changed either way. I do think vibes-wise, it's better if we win that. You know, we want to go in on a high note. Not having Uzuni, not having Bukhari play, one for injury concern or just, you know, safety and in health and the other for whatever reason, just because maybe the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. We were always going to do less without them playing, right? We have the reserves playing. Do you think, this is a question that we didn't prep for, but do you think those minutes that we saw, Robert Taylor, Obrian, even a guy like CJ Fodry off the bench, Dubrsarski, do you think those are probably the last minutes we see them get throughout the rest of the season?
I'm gonna say no, man. I think honestly, the way I'm seeing this game against San Jose was helping prime up the ensemble, kind of going back to what you were saying before the Open Cup final, where you had your leading guys, or rather the ensemble cast,
Exactly.
helping up prop the All Stars, and so I think in this case, Nico is just kind of prepping that bench depth there for whenever they're ready to come on in this playoff series, and so I don't know, man. I'm not too worried about it. Again, I said this last week, but if we scored first, obviously we're going for it, even if we're rotated or not. We scored first, and then we just, kind of got chichoed there with those foul calls and stuff like that. But I don't think we're going to see the last of, the likes of Fodry or Obrian for that matter, or even Dubrsarski. I think they're going to be, key minute eaters for this 3-game series and then beyond if we get that far.
I mean, I could see that. My hunch is that we're going to shorten this rotation real hard, right? And people are going to play full 90s in the mentality of like, no more guaranteed games. We're the underdog. We got to get there to get there,
Sure. Yeah.
And so we're going to see, 9 full 90s plus Stuver, maybe like 1 or 2 subs is what it feels like, barring injury in these games.
I'm looking at it realistically. Like, is Sanchez in that starting 11? If so, like, I don't know if he goes back to back full 90 hard stock like that, but that's where I feel like somewhere like in the, I don't know, late 70 minute of game 2, maybe, you'll see a Dubrsarski, entrance in there or something like that. But, I get your point though. And I think to that, going to the rotation in San Jose, I think it was smart for Nico to make that starting 11 the way he did. He was introducing some of those more starting caliber players towards the end there, so that way they can kind of be getting warmed up for
exactly
for the playoffs. But these guys know what they're doing. They would have loved to have gotten the 3 points and done absolutely nothing with it on decision day, but they know that they're going to get their head right for game 1 against LAFC.
So with that win for San Jose, they set themselves up for a potential play-in berth. They needed RSL to lose to St. Louis City. Was that what the last, or was it
correct? Colorado? Well, it was RSL and I think Colorado losing.
Yeah, a couple of results needed to go their way. I thought it was really cool to watching the Austin FC broadcast to see the commentator crew and the camera crew stay locked in, like looking at all the players. Like both teams are at half field watching the Jumbotron of that St. Louis City RSL game, whatever it was. And they're like showing the screen on the camera, and they show the players, and like the commentators are now commentating this game through a screen that they're watching, like not even live, just because if it fell the right way, San Jose made it. And unfortunately, the other team couldn't get it done, but it was fun to watch. It was very MLS.
I was going to say that was peak MLS for them to not cut to the actual broadcast.
Yeah, I was like,
from that point, it's like we're watching this grainy, pixelated, Jumbotron feed right now. But hey, at the end, I think Austin gets the last laugh because it's like, hey, y'all won, but you're sitting here crying now because you couldn't get it. So shout out the boys, man.
Yes, sir. Looking elsewhere on decision day, we saw San Diego closing out their inaugural season with a 4-0 thrashing of Portland, earning San Diego the official title of best expansion season in MLS history. The number 1 seed with 63 points, outdoing St. Louis City's opening or inaugural season of number 1 seed with 57 points or something like that. So they did it. San Diego did. Shout out to them, my Shadow Club. With Portland's loss and FC Dallas's win over LA Galaxy, Portland officially fell into the play-in. We'll have to face RSL this Sunday. So that loss was meaningful,
Yeah.
shout out Dallas for earning the 7th seed and playing double spoiler and victor in that. Obviously the Eastern Conference did their whole thing, all the drama there. Was this decision day as decision day-y as you expected?
Yes and no, because I think looking at both ends of the table, I mean, there were no surprises really on the top end, right? And then the only thing that's decision day about this, and in this case, like unexpected, would be just that Portland ended up skidding so far down, from where they were, even just over the summer, 2/3 of the way through the season. And so it's going to be interesting to see if they just end up kind of fizzing out, on this wild card game. And we don't really see from them until, the beginning of next season. But yeah, I mean, if there is a shout out to be had, I think it's probably Dallas from climbing up, from, the non-playoff spot into going from there. But yeah, other than that, I don't think it was as dramatic as, the pundits were desperately manufacturing it to be.
For the drama of it. Dallas with a big climb to end the year, only 3 points behind us. And I don't know if that adds anything to the narrative. Estevez leaving Dallas, and now he's here in Austin, and double turnaround for both our club and their club with his exit.
Right.
I don't know. That's a different conversation for depending on what happens in the playoffs, but interesting nonetheless.
No, yeah, man.
Shout out Decision Day. We got LAFC coming up. We'll get to that in the second half. But first, let's run through some of these regular season awards, man. So the week of, this was episode 84 of the podcast, and this was the 2 or 3 days before the season opener. We ran through some projected predictions, things like top goal scorer, breakout player, defensive player of the year for this club. Some are objective, some are subjective, right? Some are just based on stats, some are just vibes. So I want to do a quick recap of what we did. We could talk about a few of them because they are stats driven, and then we'll get into a little bit of a discussion of the kind of subjective ones afterwards. So
for sure,
recapping first, we started with top goal scorer. So Paul, do you remember who you said? You might be looking at it, but do you remember the vibe?
I think if I remember correctly, I think I had Bakari breaking out. Yeah,
you did. Yeah, you had him as our top goal scorer. I said Brandon Vasquez. Unfortunately, the answer ended up being the one and only. Tell him, Paul.
Oh,
so Owen Wolf, for circumstance of injury and circumstance of his great year, he ended up after the regular season being our top goal scorer. This is just regular season. We're not looking to Open Cup right now.
Right.
He had 7 goals on the season, which is his highest number of his career, highest number on the club. And that's awesome. And also bad.
It's just Hade Obrian numbers on a different player, like he was our leading goal scorer with 7 last season. So it's it is what it is.
It's awesome for Owen. Nothing can be taken away from him for the great season he had. But goddamn, this team's top goal scorer has 7 goals on the season. That is stinky doo-doo. And he wasn't even like an attacker. It was a new attacker who was a midfielder left back before or whatever. So.
Right, exactly.
Bakari had 3 on the year. Vasquez had 5. Right, Vasquez 5 before that injury that sidelined him for most of the season and the All-Star break. Bakari, unfortunately, just after that opening goal of the year, couldn't keep that consistency.
I think he had more defenders on the ground than goals.
Oh, for sure. For sure. In like a 3-week span, he had more.
Yeah. So that counts.
It does. Good highlights. For the top assist man, Paul, you said Uzuni, the newcomer. He ended with 3 on the year. I said Danny Pereira. He ended with 4. And the actual answer was, again, Owen Wolf. So Owen Wolf led our team in assists as well. And this is, I don't think counting like the secondary assists. This is just whatever.
Little hockey assist, yeah.
Yeah, this is just 8. He had 8 on the year. So Owen Wolf, our top goal scorer and our top assist leader, which makes sense because he is our top goal contributor. 15 on the year. So that's what's up. And then let's see. Those were the only 2 actual statistically driven ones. So shout out to Owen Wolf for dominating that. Let's go part by part here, right? Because the next 4, we actually have a discussion to have because we
For
put
sure,
something,
for sure.
but now we have to debate it, right?
Yep.
So I threw in this one first and foremost because I think it's obvious, at least. Let's just talk best player. This wasn't necessarily something we talked about ahead of the season, but I think we can both agree who our best player was this year.
Do you want me to do it a third time? Because I will.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
There you go. So we had our best player this year, at least I did, and I assume Paul agreed. It was Owen Wolf. I think there's a strong argument for a guy like Brad Stuber, obviously. But that would be his 5th year running. So it's like,
right.
Or at least 4 of the last 5 years. So I think Owen Wolf, according to the Verdependent podcast, was our best player this season for Austin FC. Honorable mention, Brad Stuber. Most improved. So this is one we did do ahead of the season. And this is a fun debate. So, Paul, you said Danny P would be our most improved player. And I think your reasoning was something like, I want to look at somebody who has a track record in MLS, somebody who has contributed and has that big jump, right? And you're looking at Danny P for that. For me, I said Gallagher, which would be kind of a return to his 2023 form or whatever it was, the All-Star year for him form.
23, yeah.
And kind of that Irish Swiss knife or Irish Army knife, Swiss Army knife that he has been. He still was that, right? He played 4 different positions, I think, throughout the year, but back pass, merchant, didn't do too much.
Solid athlete, bro. Solid
athlete. Always played hard. Wasn't ever really a net negative. Just kind of was neutrally there. Danny P, I don't know if you have anything specific to say about his season, or maybe you want to defend that call after all is said and done.
No, I don't think I have anything to defend. I think there might be another player here that we want to put over him, but I just think in general his metrics I feel like kind of too closely match his previous seasons for me to really go like that was an improvement. He is closer to his ceiling, than he has been in previous seasons in Austin FC, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, but I think we might agree on this one again. I'm saying my most improved player for this season is, again, Owen Wolf. What is your thought on that? Are you agreeing?
I can agree with that. I think just from a statistical standpoint, those numbers would agree with you. I think just from a level of pure impact and what he contributes to the team when he's on the field versus when he's off the field. I mean, there's no other player that when you take him off, has that level of impact. So, granted, this is for most improved, but also I think most impactful also we might as well just throw that in there.
Yeah. I think that's great.
So, yeah.
I like it. I'm glad we agree. Owen Wolf is leading like everything so far. Let's talk about breakout player, right? So looking back, Paul, you said it would be Savovich. It's his first season with the club, right? It's going to be he was a Djurgården's Conference League guy. Could have played Chelsea. You had him. I said Svatak, which my only note was nice. I thought that's cool. Breakout player, though, who do you think actually earned it? I'll let you throw out a name first because we may agree, we may not.
Sure. Yeah, I think breakout. I don't know, man. I was gonna say maybe someone like it ultimately ended up would be Svatak, but I saw here on the notes that you've got CJ
Fodry as the breakout player.
Yeah.
And so our very loose description of what breakout player means is a guy that we didn't really expect to do much or had like a pretty base understanding of what he was going to be contributing, and he greatly exceeded those expectations.
Right.
And so for me, it's CJ because of his late season heroics in big moments, coming out and being that guy that you don't expect to win things for you in the regular season, in Open Cup, etc. I think he earned it with a late season push, in my opinion. But if you have somebody that you're looking at like over a 38 game or 34 game stretch plus Open Cup that like has been steady.
That's kind of where I'm at, man. I think it's got to go to someone in the defense who, again, I'm thinking either number 4 or number 5. You can give it to Brendan Hines-Ike or you can give it to Alexander Svatak because I think their presence in the back line greatly contributed to our best defensive performance this season. 9 clean sheets on the year. Hella clearances, which I think goes to Heinz Ike. And then granted, he was at that level a little bit, last year, but I think there was something about this year where he was just constantly like a force,
Yeah. I felt I had that thought too. I was like, is it a defender? Is it a beater kind of guy? But I think he had his breakout moments already at the end of last season and continued those, that kind of spark plug that he can be.
Yep. But here's my thing with CJ though. It felt very like flash in the pan. It was great timing. Like we desperately needed him to do what he did when he did it, right?
Yeah.
But again, like it's very hard to maintain any kind of semblance of momentum with that,
That's fair.
But I think for the moment, if you aggregate the season as a whole, or if you just take out a specific slice of the season, then I can totally see your rationale for having CJ as the breakout.
I'm rocking with CJ for me, just because I think the impact, like the ceiling of impact that those moments had was so important to us getting to where we are today, and getting to the Open Cup final. And I think that has breakout player written all over it. I'm not mad at a BHI or Zvatak shout. You got to
for sure.
Which one is it?
Let's give it to CJ, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
tell him I said what's up in 2K.
Let's go. Yeah. All right, a few more left. Let's run through these because I'm getting.
Let's do it.
I'm expositioning too much. The Felipe Martins Hector Jimenez Locker Room Vibes Player of the Year award. To start the year, you said Julio was going to be it. Nice. And I said Obrian, which I thought was also nice. I think you were cooking a little bit, and I want you to give your argument for Julio again, because in hindsight, I think he kind of nailed it.
Yeah, no, for sure. So first of all, thank you. I think for me, man, like with Julio, he was one of those players that from year one, was always just going to be, a strong locker room presence. He's never going to be like your top player in any kind of category or what have you, but he's going to give you the right vibes that you need to kind of get settled in before a match or after a match. And I think what was interesting that we didn't call this year was that Julio was going to be kind of almost, I don't want to say like phased out, but there was that vibe right about him and just kind of his level of involvement with the team this year.
Definitely.
But I think for him to still be able to do that and contribute as he was getting rephased back in towards the last third of the year, I think he just, you could tell that he was one of the guys that helped kind of set the tone in the locker room. So
yeah, I think it's that season long narrative, right? That we can look back on and see, like, I think Obrian showed moments of frustration often when he get PT, because I think he felt he deserved it. Maybe he did in some scenarios, and I'm not here to argue one way or the other. But I think in terms of the vibes he was putting out seemed less positive than what Julio was doing, who always had a smile on his face, played hard when he did play. Not that Obrian didn't. I'm just calling out what Julio did. Is a vibes guy. You see him doing those like Lexus behind the scenes driving interview things with the homies, and like he is the homer at this point. It's him and Stuver and Gally and Danny, right? Like the year one dudes who've been here. And I think that his season easily could have continued on that trajectory of not getting run, not getting opportunity. But for some reason, and this goes back to what we were talking about of like our expectations in the late Open Cup of like, you need those veterans to show up. For some reason, Julio came out of the woodwork and put in some strong performances unexpectedly in our biggest games, and got the start multiple times in the crunch of the season, both Open Cup and regular season, as we're trending toward, clinching playoffs and Open Cup finals. So I think that's like the perfect vibes guy. Like if we put in 3 years ago, we put in Felipe and Hector in a big game, like I'm not mad necessarily. I'm like, okay, we need that coach on the field who maybe won't make that many mistakes. And Julio had some big moments, played calm, cool, and collected so far this year. So like, I think you were spot on there. It was Julio all along. And I think it was staring me in the face and I didn't want to see it. So
I'm the same way, brother. I'm the same way, but we saw it. We saw it when we needed to.
Okay, let's go to DPOY real quick. And I don't want to go too long on this because this is one of the ones that we kind of lean on the club to dictate in terms of like the overall impact. I think we'll see one of our guys get nominated by the club for the DPOY consideration. So maybe that's our answer at the end of it. But I want to throw out Zvatak as the guy. And I think you would agree. Yeah, you're putting up a 5 for the people just listening. So Paul's holding a 5 up. I think it's got to be Zvatak. The advanced analytics and metrics hate that answer for some reason. That dude is listed in like the bottom of every like goal stopping category and advanced analytics according to like, Phil West and those dudes that go more.
And let's keep it 100 while we're here, man. Let's keep it 100 with the listeners. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing watching him.
No.
But there's just something about him absolutely making contact with a Christian Benteke
yes.
or, a Joao Klaus or, just another big dude just like, owning up to this guy. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. And the stare, bro. It's
the stare. That's it. The staring through steel.
That's it.
I think if you think of like if Kip Keller's Squirtle, Zvatak's Blastoise, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like that kind of evolution of like runs like a baby deer.
Yep.
and that turn into a tank, like it's funny. So, but I think it's got to be Zvatak. He's just consistent. He's getting national team call-ups consistently. I like that about him.
For sure.
Same with Julio, right? Shout out to him too. Getting this call.
Exactly.
Like, Zvatak, I think, earned it. The coach trusted him in every big moment. If he was healthy, he was playing. So,
yeah,
I expect.
And he got his first goal.
He did. Yes, big moment.
Yeah, so it was just like hell yeah, man. So
yeah, all we can do is lean on the vibes for DPOY until the club tells us otherwise. So that's our pick. Zvatak, shout out number 5. Carry
Zvatak season, baby.
And then let's close it out with best moment of the year. This is just kind of a subjective one in hindsight. What was the best moment of the year in your opinion?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you for that top spot because I think you and I both agree that is the one. But I am gonna give an honorable mention to sweeping LAFC in the regular season, 1-0, home and away, and the home win obviously to secure the clean sheet, record of 9 clean sheets in the year. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and you tell us what we both think the top moment of the season is.
You put out a good shot. I just want to give you credit for that. We're going to get into that more in the second half. But I think most would agree that our top moment this year is the Open Cup heroics in the semifinal at Minnesota United. The 121st game winner, staring penalties in the face. We see Diego hit the pass to Gally. Gally hit it across. Uzuni gets the shot on target. St. Clair makes an amazing save, but who's there to bag it in? Off the bounce for the win? The breakout player of the year, CJ.
Breakout player, bro.
Right. And so that's one of those moments that just we all black out thinking of it. You get chills thinking of it. I can see it burn in my brain, the exact build up to that moment. It's got to be the moment of the year for us because without that, we don't make the Open Cup guaranteed, right? Maybe we win in penalties and make the final. Who knows? Yeah. We didn't have to because CJ showed up. So that's my best moment of the year. To run back through it, we had Owen Wolff as our best player. Owen Wolff is our most improved. CJ as our breakout player. The Julio Cascante as the Felipe Martins Hector Jimenez Locker Room Vice Player of the Year award. Alexander Zvatak as DPOY. And then the best moment of the year, undoubtedly, Open Cup heroics at Minnesota. Next year, I think it's going to be the Julio Cascante Felipe Martins Hector Jimenez Locker Room Vice Player of the Year award. And we'll just keep adding to it as more winning, So
I like it.
All right. Appreciate y'all getting through those seasonal awards with us. We have a fun time just leaning on the vibes there and talking through it. So shout out to the team for just entertaining us.
And let us know what y'all think too, always. Because especially when it comes to like DPOY or breakout. Yeah, man. Like, I feel like
some of these are very subjective. And everybody has a different vibe. So please, the BHI stands, come out, tell us why we're wrong. All right. Let's take a quick break. Then we're going to talk about this LAFC playoff matchup. And we're back. Playoffs. We made it. Look at us.
Always knew we were going to, bro.
Always knew. Yep. With the San Diego win and a Minnesota loss, LAFC held on to the third spot, setting up a rematch of the 2022 Western Conference Finals between Austin FC and the Black and Gold. Austin earned a 2-game sweep of LAFC this season, as Paul mentioned earlier, But with the addition of Heung-min Son, fans and journalists alike across MLS are placing very little weight on those results to predict the winner of this first round best of 3. While it's obvious that this LAFC team that we're facing in round 1 is different than the teams we faced both in March and just a week and a half ago, how does our unbeaten record against the club affect the mindset here in Austin?
I would say that it affects the mindset because they showed themselves that they can grind out, wins against a very strong competitor in LAFC. Thinking back to March, they still had some solid players on that roster, and even just a week and a half ago, I mean, it's still a good squad even without Denny Bouanga or Heung-min Son. But it's like they're going to have to find another gear if they want to get 2 wins out of this 3-game series.
Yeah.
But I think their mindset is, again, how it has been this season. It's that dog mentality. It's that, we got to kind of start from a bottom position and work our way up. But it's going to be a good fight, man. Going to be a really good fight.
Yeah, I think those wins were so important for this team because you can simplify it down to we've played them twice, we beat them twice. That's it, right? We need to do it 2 more times to move on to round 2. It doesn't matter if they have new players, if they have a new coach, if they're in a new city. We beat them twice, we can do it again, right? And I think it could be boiled down to that level of simplicity where like dudes whose entire career is built around turning off their mind and just playing, right? Thinking about nothing else but the game in front of them. They should be able to do that pretty easily, even though there's all these new factors, right? And Denny and Son are the dynamic duo of MLS, and they're the star boys and picture of everything. Like, I don't even think about any of that, right?
Yeah.
I know Uzuni's not going to give that, but please.
Sorry to interrupt. I will say this, though. Here's the only thing that I am asking of this team when they go to BMO Stadium for that game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Please just go out and show us and like that you mean business, that in like you don't necessarily have to win, right? Because there's 2 more games to make your case, but please do not ghost us the way you ghosted at BMO Stadium, in 2022 for that Western Conference final. Because my God, that performance was abysmal, and there are still some players on this roster that will remember that. And I would really, really hope that they are leaning into that experience to inform the rest of the squad that is new, and saying like, hey, this team had a chance. They were 1 game away, 90 minutes away from a final, MLS Cup final, and they didn't show up the way they needed to. This team has to show up the way they need to.
And while the roster's changed a bit, tactically, LAFC plays very, on paper, similar, right? They like pace. They like to counter. They want the ball in Denny. They want to get the ball to Denny, and now, Super Denny, right, and Heung-min Son. So like, there's a clear way this team wants to play, and so it's similar enough to 2022 that you can legitimately take from that experience and say, hey, here's what we learned, and it applies. I think, that's a big fear, right? As a fan, you don't want it. We've lived that before with LAFC. BMO Stadium is a tough place to play, even though we've won there multiple times in regular season matchups. What is your advice to Nico Estevez in preparing tactically for this matchup? I think you spoke to it a little bit just now in your hope, but
sure,
as a fan, like, what do you want to see? What do you want Nico to do?
What I want to see and then what I think they're going to end up doing are 2 completely different things, brother. But I think the advice for Nico is to continue to do what they've been doing when they've been successful, which is, to kind of play that more counteractive ball. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing thing until it works and we get the ball, 3 passes from, our third to their attacking third and goal. And so like, that would be my hope as a fan that breathes this stuff is like, bro, do what you have to do. You get 3 games. If you can steel yourself mentally to just outlast whoever is in front of you, 2 games out of 3, you move on, and then it's one after the other from that, man. But I think this team can do it, man. I think, especially after that disappointment of the Open Cup final, I think this group wants to prove it to themselves and to the fan base that they can dig themselves in and come out.
I agree, man. I think we have a really interesting experience ahead of us as fans in terms of watching these games, because I think we see, I don't know, I think Nico's the guy that tinkers a little bit here. Nothing crazy, but really looks back at the culmination of what has worked in the biggest moments of the season and what has worked across collectively the whole entire 34 games, right? And really take pieces from each of that and say, hey, when we put this player in these positions, they excel. Next to that, when this guy's in this position, they excel together, right? And kind of build that puzzle piece together, or from all the experience you've had throughout the season. And I think we see, and this is part of why I chose my preheated take as Austin having less than 40% possession. I think we see an extremely defensive heavy game where we almost like take a textbook out of the LA Galaxy 2024 book, where there's just like a huge gap between the defensive line and the counter-attacking forwards to where that midfield is wide open. And we see opportunity where a guy like Danny P, who's helping defend, the moment we get that ball, he's sprinting for the ball. Like there's just opportunities where we can move quickly. You get the ball to Danny where he can start dribbling in open space. You look for a guy like Owen Wolf who can get that final pass in consistently and has done all season. And you look for a guy like Uzuni Bakari to create the final play, right? And I think there's the interesting counterattacking tactic that we can pull in LAFC to flip them on their head, because they play very well in that space. Right. Every highlight I've seen in the last 2.5 months of Son and Bouanga together, those dudes are sprinting full speed ahead in counterattacking play over and over and over and over and over again, right? You do not want to get in that battle with LAFC. You don't want to give them any space behind you. So I think we play an extremely, extremely bunkered. And I would want that. I would want Estevez to do that almost.
Right. No, I hear that.
Someone sprinting at the supporter section, ready to just put Stuver in a highlight reel, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And the more that I'm hearing you say this, the more I'm realizing for myself, granted, Human Son is Human Son and one of the top attackers, alive today. Danny Bouanga on his day is up there. But we also have competent attackers in the sense that like Bakari is capable of going pretty fast, top speed, close control of the ball. Uzuni less so, I think, but he's still able to kind of have that IQ of like opening up space for another runner to come in.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a very like for like kind of situation that we see, but I don't know. We shouldn't be too fearful. And I think we can give it to them like we've done this regular season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. Who do you think needs to step up for this club to make it to the second round?
What? I feel like I want to see a really good contribution or like boost in contribution from Danny P. I think when he has a clear, like obvious positive game, the team benefits from it. But also Uzuni. I think those are the two names immediately that jump out as you've got to do something. Like if I can add, plus 10 to whatever attributes. Like they've got to go there.
Yeah. I think that's spot on. I had Danny P as my guy because I think he's going to be that key for us if we do bunker down, which I expect us to really turn the attack on for us. And without him having a performance and taking space and moving the attack forward, I think it's harder for us to succeed. I was actually looking at Bakari as the second guy for the same reasons, because I think there's many memories of the last 3 months or so of watching this team from the supporter section and seeing Buka on an island wide the fuck open on the right side of the byline, begging for the ball behind or just at his feet so he can run, while we have 9 guys clustered on the left side of the field just playing tiki-taka BS and not doing anything, back to Stuver and then back and back to Stuver and back. And I think that needs to change. And I don't know if that's Buka stepping up and saying, I need the ball on my feet this much for us to succeed. You know this, right? Get the ball to my feet and I can create space for everybody else. I don't need to be the finishing guy, but I can help unlock and move us down the field quickly, and open that up for us. So I'm looking at a guy like Buka for those same reasons.
I hear that. I think.
Please.
I was just gonna say one more. Who is your non-starting 11 caliber player that you want to like have a direct impact? Like For example, my guy is Basard Savovic.
Mm-hmm.
I need that brother to step in and be whatever box-to-box midfielder he was brought here to be, at a level that is going to keep us from dropping off in the middle of the park against top teams in the playoffs. And so far, I just haven't really seen enough from him to consistently be like, yeah, that's our guy. Like I feel safe in the middle of the park with him in there. But yeah, how about you? Who's your
you're
sub?
in my head because he was the guy I was looking at. I'm really looking at that pivot in the midfield to be the opening factor or the deciding factor for this matchup. And it's Danny, it's Savovic, it's that kind of player. Ilie in some ways too.
Yeah.
I think for me, because you said Savovic, I'll move elsewhere. I think it's got to be, man, for some reason I'm thinking it's got to be Robert Taylor, right? If we want to think of it in the same way as like Julio stepping up in that Open Cup run and those big moments in the final push of the season, bring in that veteran presence of a guy who knows how to act in these situations for this club. I think it has to be Robert Taylor for us. He's had success in his short time in this league playing with Messi. And I think he's a guy that you can put in the 65th, 70th minute to change up the formation. Either you're chasing a game or you just need more firepower, and you can trust him to create something. Right. And I think he has to step up and do that for us off the bench, because going back to that conversation we had about the San Jose game and that big rotation and like which of these guys actually gets PT going into this big playoff run. I think it has to be him, regardless of his product of work this season. I think same idea as Julio. It just has to be guys like that who step up, who have that pedigree, who have that veteran presence. It could be an Obrian. If it's him, fuck yeah, but all the best, all the good for it, right? But I'm looking at Robert Taylor as a guy that can be that for us. So that's a good
question. Brother. Hell yeah.
Predictions for game one. Let's keep it short. What's the score?
Oof. I don't see it being a multi-goal situation. I just know whoever scores first is going to probably end up on top. And let's make it dramatic. Let's go 1-0 LAFC game one.
Interesting. I think it's a 1-1 penalty win for Austin on the road. I think it's a 1-1 penalty win. I think we win penalties 4-3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because Stuver blocked one. And we hit fourth to win it. So
yeah, he blocked Denny's.
Yep.
That's what happened.
I like that. So I'm going 1-1. There's no ties in this best of three. There's no draws. It's 90 minutes, then penalties. It's that quick. So I could see us a little 1-1 sneakiness and then winning some penalties and then take it home to Q2.
You wanna get dramatic, bro.
Yeah, I want to take 5 years off my heart health.
Yeah.
Watching that game. So
I like it though. I like it.
I like it too. All right, we'll talk more about that next week. We'll record ahead of game two and we'll go through all that shit. So
for sure.
Let's get the stoppage and close this thing out.
Let's do it.
Starting with MLS. Messi wins MLS Golden Boot with 29 goals in the year. He ends up just one short of Carlos Vela's league record goal contributions tally of 49. Messi ends with 48. There's some controversy there. I don't really care to talk about it too much. What are your thoughts?
Bro, next.
I'd say this. Messi had a hat trick in the final game to get to that number. That's cool, I guess.
That's awesome, man. Again, the Eastern Conference is like Swiss cheese defense, apparently, bro. Because did you see those decision day scores, bro? Did you see the crazy. Eastern Conference was just Swiss cheesing themselves, and then Western Conference was locked down?
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. Good. Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
That's expected, great. Right? The fact that you even had to try this hard to get it. Come on, bro. What do you get? I guess MLS isn't that easy. I don't know. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, right.
They played like 28 games. That's the big argument. Vela played more games, yada, yada. Who cares? He did it. Messi didn't. Next.
Yep.
Brad Stuver appears on the MLS Save of the Year nominations for his game-saving block against the Seattle Sounders on September 21st. If you remember, this is when we're tied 1-1. The ball goes from Roldan to Jomo, Jordan Morris in the middle of the box. He nails it. Stuver dives in the middle and parries it wide. Just a few moments later, Zuni hits the game winner, and we win 2-1. Thoughts on this?
I think it's cool to see, his art. I say his art, his body of work rather, being put up for a nomination like this. I will say, I feel like there's probably other saves there that could be
Yeah,
put to nomination, but we just need to make sure that we're voting for that thing
exactly.
and
Yeah.
going from there. So yeah,
Yeah, the real ones know the context of that save, right? You know that it was a
correct.
big win against someone who's right next to you in the table in the playoffs. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets the winner just minutes later. That's dope. I'm sure there's
Yeah,
other ones on that list that I don't know the context of, but there's some pretty impressive saves this season from some of these guys. Roman Celentano, for example, had a crazy double save against
yeah,
Sturridge in Nashville. Hani Mukhtar as well. So anyway, a lot of cool stuff.
for sure.
Keeping on the thread of keepers, Roman Berkey for St. Louis City signs a 2-year contract extension. He's been one of the best keepers in the league since he came here, and he's sticking
Mm-hmm.
around for at least 2 more years. So thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a massive, massive extension there for St. Louis City. They get a DP, keeper who's been the anchor for that back line the past 3 years now, and so good on them, to ensure that he stays playing for him. But it's gonna be tricky again, man, as always, because that brother is a solid keeper for sure.
Yeah, he is, and I think it's smart on them amidst all their transition up top
Mm-hmm.
to see what he's done for the club, even though they've had 2 down years since year one.
Yeah,
It has not been on that guy, right? That's the reason why he's still getting
exactly.
nominations year after year. So,
Right.
looking internationally, USA, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Jamaica submit a bid for the Women's World Cup in 2031 to host it as a collective across North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. Great opportunity to see some ball, in, like you were saying, Central America, Caribbean, just US, obviously. I think it's right now the only bid for 2031, but I think that's an interesting collective. I'll be honest. I was not expecting this conglomerate of nations to come together and say, hey, we want to host.
Yeah, I like it.
Surprising omission being Canada, but
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Yeah, it's a cool trend we're seeing right now where these collectives of geographically, close groups are coming together saying, hey, we want to host it together, right? You see the
Right.
United Kingdom plus group for 2035, the UK, Wales, Scotland, and Northern
Mm-hmm.
Ireland are all coming together to host a bid or put in a bid for 2035. Or this is a trend we're seeing, obviously, with the World Cup, the Men's World Cup. We have
Yep.
Mexico and the US together, so and Canada, right?
Yeah.
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 So
In Canada.
it's just cool collectives to see to really put the world's game on the world stage. Let's look at NWSL. San Diego Wave goes supernova on worst in the league, Chicago Stars, and a 6-1 win that clinched playoffs for them, for the Wave.
Mm-hmm.
Houston Hand KC Current, just their 3rd loss on the season. Gives real big. Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the lead to 43 kind of vibes. But, that's just me. Thoughts on this as we hit the final match day this weekend of the season?
For sure. For sure. No, I just thought it was so Houston Dash of them to absolutely just put a halt on all things that is the train, the KC Current train.
Yeah.
With a little cheeky,
1-0.
1-0. Just
best, yeah.
This is crazy, man. But good for them. We'll continue to figure out a way to not make playoffs next season, despite performances like this.
It's got to be tough to see that win, and deserved and earned win against the best club, like by far. They're like 18 points ahead of second place.
Yeah.
To see that kind of gritty win right after you get knocked out of playoff contention, and just think like, what could have been, right?
Right.
I don't know if you took some of the pressure off yourselves as players or from the organization, or just I don't know, step back, took a breath, like you might have been contending, because they're just a couple points off, bro. Like they're that close to making it.
I know. Yeah, it's interesting, but shout out your Wave though for being able to stay in that contention. It's going to be good. The playoffs would not have been as good if San Diego Wave was not playing in them, but
yeah,
it's going to be a good one now. So excited to see how they do.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We got to do a little watch party, either at the Casa or somewhere else.
Down.
What are we talking about? 1972 Club, obviously.
1972 G.
So
about it.
Let's close it out with Chelsea. Chelsea trounced Nottingham Forest in a 3-0 victory. and a big celebration. They extend their red card streak. Shout out
Got to do it.
Blues. A fun outcome of this game: Ange Postecoglou gets sacked immediately following the match in a tunnel scuffle with their owner, whose name I don't remember, but it's that mean Greek dude.
Yeah.
Fill us in. What happened?
Bro, I just know that some tensions were heavy and high at the City Ground, but I don't even care, dude. Chelsea won. That's all I care about. It was early enough for us to get that coffee and just start our day with a beautiful 3 points before our sports teams, UT and Austin FC, elevate our heart rates. But yeah, man, shout out the Blues. I think we had what? Oh my gosh, why am I tripping on the defender's name? Who scored his first goal?
Oh,
not Tosin. Help me out.
Fucking, I'm remembering.
Lojo is screaming the answer right now in his car. I can already hear it.
Are y'all even fans?
Yeah. That's how it is. But anyway, João Pedro, Reece James.
Yeah, I was going to say João Pedro and Reece did their thing. Achimpong. Josh.
Yes, Josh Achimpong. Thank you. We got it.
Yep.
We got it.
Neto. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. And then the ladies also did their thing, 4-0 against Paris FC for,
of course,
Women's Champions League stuff. I mean, we just do this thing, man. It's getting kind of tiring, honestly.
It never will get tiring, bro. Don't say that. Don't.
You're right. You're right.
Morals, bro. You gotta love it. We didn't talk about it, but there was a UT game. It was stressful. An away game in Lexington, Kentucky is, from what we've seen from all the SEC fans, it's a rite of passage, right? To get it
right.
A sweaty random weeknight or random night game in Kentucky. That you feel like you should win, but you sweat your ass off for 4 quarters. So UT gets the win, though. So that's all we'll say about that.
That's right.
Anyway, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this week's episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Logan Bartlett. You can find me on Twitter at LobarVHLM.
And I am Paul Fletes. You can catch me online at PaulandreFC. That's a government name.
And keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And that's an episode, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, why are you screaming at me?
Oh my God.